Hello and welcome. I'm very excited on today's session of the Soma Flow podcast. I have a very special guest with me. His name is Jason Marvin, a physical therapist for 25 years who believes true healing happens when we care for the whole person, body, mind, emotions, and soul. His passion is helping people rise into their full potential and experience a vibrant health from the inside out. Thank
Mm,
you, Jason, for joining me today. I'm so happy
Absolutely.
to have you here.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me. And, it's been a while. We actually were, I think back the last time we actually met, you're like, we should do a podcast. I'm like,
That
okay.
was like 2 years ago.
I know.
It was, so
Yeah.
Jason
It's
and I
it's gone
met
by fast.
through coaching program, and I
Yeah.
think we met on the last night of the 5 day. That must have been in 2022.
Yeah. I think the first time. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That,
and we were in this 5 day consciousness training for the coaching program that we both got certified in. And he's a body-based practitioner. I'm a body-based practitioner. And it's a unique thing to be a body-based practitioner in the world of coaching and consciousness because they'll usually say like, oh, we don't need that. And everything inside of me is like, you're wrong. Like, actually, don't tell me I'm less than you. Like, I'm like the fighter in me is
yeah.
always like, no, you just don't understand the benefit. So you say it's not necessary. But
Yeah.
um, so that's how Jason and I met was the last day. I think we were the
Yes.
only two body-based practitioners there, if I
Yeah.
recall.
Yeah.
So,
It's quite an interesting dynamic, excuse me, to be in a place of coaching and then realize that everybody else needs this stuff, like not just coaching, but body work too at the same time and the meshing of it all together. So it's
oh,
really, really,
right.
yeah,
Yeah, it was that was an interesting journey for me. We could talk about it on another episode.
yeah,
But it
yeah, we
was
will.
when with coaching and I was like, wait a minute, I've been doing this for 25 years. I just don't charge as much as you. Like I was like, I've been
Mm-hmm.
giving people wellness strategies since I started this career.
Yeah,
So it was
yeah.
just a funny realization. But our second encounter was at an intuition training for 5 days. And we
Mm-hmm.
had a group together. And I'm just going to tell this story because it was really funny. And we were
Yeah.
doing intuitive readings for people. And this one man had a question about his love life. And Jason and I had the same vision, and we saw the same woman in this man's field. And what was that like for you? Because that was kind of a fun reading. I mean, I don't
Yeah, no, it was pretty wild, just the ping ponging off of one another. Be like, you see this? Yeah, I see that too. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, this is what's gonna happen. This is what she looks like. This is what she's like.
And you know what? Okay, so Jason doesn't know this, but he emailed me not that long after. I think it was like a year later, and he goes, "You guys were 100% accurate. I met that exact woman, and it unfolded exactly as you thought it would. And it's not because we set the, thing in there. The
Amazing.
lesson we told him he needed to learn was exactly what he learned. And he goes, that was exactly what I needed to learn. And it was
Yeah.
amazing, the accuracy, especially when you get two intuitives doing a reading for
Hmm.
someone. Anyways.
Yeah, very powerful. That's so amazing.
Yeah. So it was
Awesome.
very
Good.
cool because you don't always get feedback from people to go, oh yeah, that reading was like so accurate and thank you. So I don't know that, we don't always get that as practitioners. So
No, we don't.
yeah.
That's okay.
Um, yeah, and so this conversation that we're going to have today is a little bit about Jason's journey because he's fascinating, and I'm so grateful to consider him a friend. And he helped me through some coaching last year that was probably the best coaching I've ever had, and
Mm.
I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And he helped me get to some parts of myself that just were trapped in pain and a victim consciousness that aren't there anymore. So I'm so grateful for Jason and the work that he does in the world. So,
Thank you
um,
so much. I appreciate that.
so
It's very sweet of you to say.
I love that you're kind of that you're not kind of, but you went from super science to woo, and now you do both. And I would love to hear a little bit about your journey,
Yeah.
how it
Huh.
happened.
Well, it's quite fascinating actually. Thinking about my journey back then, coming out of school, I'm gung ho. I'm like, "Yeah, I want to help people. This is awesome. Very sports related and all that kind of stuff. And I started working at a clinic originally that was sports medicine. No, it was just a mill. Here, give some exercises. Give some exercises.
Oh my
Like,
God, can we talk about that for just a minute?
like,
The
okay, go
mill
ahead.
mentality.
Yeah.
drives me insane. Okay, we have to do
Yeah.
another podcast on that. I'm not going to interrupt
Okay.
you. But yeah, okay, sorry. I'm like, sorry. That's
Helping
going on
people?
the list.
No, that's not part of it. We just wanted to get a bunch of people in here to make money.
Drives me
So
nuts.
yeah, but I really kind of realized that I was not helping people that way.
Hmm.
So I ended up getting in contact with one of my colleagues that I went to school with, and he was working for an individual. And basically, they were teaching osteopathy principles. Okay. We were physical therapists, but we could still learn all those types of techniques and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I started really delving into that and just really understanding how to treat the body as itself from a physical level. And
Hands-on approaches.
what's that?
So more hands-on
Yeah,
than
it was
just.
all hands-on. And there was exercises in there, but only very, very specific to what you were trying to accomplish within the body, right? Not just random, hey, here's these 10 exercises that we give everybody, right?
Right.
No, no, no. It's very, very specific, because you're treating this one person. I
Uh-huh.
went from the mill to treating two people an hour. At least I had one person for a half hour, say. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Which was really beneficial, when you're first starting to learn and all that kind of stuff. But I think the biggest thing that I began to realize throughout this whole thing while I was doing it, is the more you're in contact with people, you start to, unbeknownst to us sometimes, and to me at the time, was this big energetic exchange going on.
Yes,
Yes.
it's huge.
And it's huge. And I had a lot of really, really, really good experiences with individuals just in that half an hour. It was amazing. I really started to understand that, hey, I can really help people when we start to really focus on the whole person in general. Yes, I was still doing it from a structural standpoint at that point in my life, um, which was amazing. But at the same time, because you're delving into fascia and all that kind of stuff, sometimes people have a somatic emotional release. I'm like, oh, what the hell is all this about? This is really weird. Like, what's going on?
Do they not
And
train you in physical therapy school about that? Oh, wow.
nothing about that.
Wow.
No. So at
Seriously?
least at that time, see, that was 25 years ago, so things have obviously changed at this point, and I hope to God that they're bringing that kind of stuff in at this
I
point.
hope so, because that's
But
one of the foundations in
yeah,
massage school. I
yeah. Well, the thing is, we weren't just in PT school. They're not just training you about fascia. They're doing everything. So it's like, hey, how can we like give the biggest bang for the buck? And that's more of a post grad thing. The emotional
okay.
stuff, I think, is what they really kind of think about. So, and that's fine. That's just how it is. But trying to get you through a state board exam, that's like their main focus. But
Okay.
I think, starting to treat about 2 hours, or 2 years, I should say, into doing PT with people, I started having my own like issues, like really run down,
Hmm.
headaches, gut stuff, digestive stuff, losing weight unexpectedly, and going, what is going on with me? Here I am, an athlete, competitive athlete, doing stuff, really, really pushing my body all the time, eating, thousands of calories a day, and I'm just losing weight, like not just a couple pounds. We were talking like 5, 10. It just kept going, 15 pounds, just
Okay, there's
like
a
coming
lot of
off.
people listening right now wanting to
Yeah.
know the secret to losing weight like that. 'Cause
Yeah.
I had the
This
opposite
is not the way to
experience.
do it.
Just teasing. Mine just kept going up and up and up. So like,
Yeah, this is not the way to do it. And here I am going, oh my God, do I have freaking cancer or something? And it's like, that's one of the hallmark signs, is like you're losing weight unexpectedly, you having like night pain or just weird stuff, right? It's hallmark sign of cancer type stuff. So it's like, of course, the brain's like going through like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So I go to the doctor, run a bunch of tests. Of course, there's nothing wrong with you. Nothing wrong with you. They can't find anything, which is like, okay. So
that's a
yeah, I
frustrating
really,
experience to have, I
yeah,
find,
it's
because you
like, and I
know
knew
it's
there was there
happening.
was something there was something else going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I was under a bunch of stress,
Mhm.
just with work stuff, getting out in the career and all that stuff. I was, dating an individual at the time. It was kind of crazy and all that stuff. Anyhow, but
Oh, that's actually important. We are going to talk about that
yeah, yeah,
later.
yeah. It is important, but
The number one
Uh,
cause of disease,
yeah, is
crazy
trust.
relationship
Yes.
partners. Just
Yeah,
saying.
totally. So, but yeah, I really started to feel that it wasn't just these other things that I had been doing. I've been dealing with all that stuff just fine. It's like my resiliency was doing good. I was able to come back and deal with stuff and bounce back, no problem. And then as soon as I got into the career of doing this, within a couple of years, it was like I crashed. Like something, it was like what tipped me over the edge. The cup is so full that now the body can't adapt anymore.
Yeah.
And and then I started to realize, like I said, obviously there's something wrong. So I actually had a nurse practitioner ask me about that. Like, what do you do for a living? I'm like, oh, physical therapist. She's like, hmm. So I wonder if you ever thought about you're taking on emotion from other
Wow. A
people.
nurse practitioner asked you that. Was
Yeah.
she in the
So
traditional scope of work or was she more?
she was in traditional medicine, but I think she was just intuitive. I think at the time, she was able to pick up on my energy and notice what was going on. So I think she, just brought it to my attention that way. And it's like, I had never even thought about that kind of stuff because we hadn't had any training in that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I just kind of delve into it from there. But, you know, stepping back a little bit and kind of thinking about this as a whole, um, knowing what I started to learn and understand, okay, well, maybe there's some kind of energetic exchange going on. Obviously, we're all energetic beings, and we're working with our hands, very cohesive with water molecules and everything. We're taking on this stuff, right? We can if we don't protect ourselves. But when I start to look back, though, just hindsight as a child, super, super like emotional, like, and when I started to realize where I was at now versus way back then, how things played out kind of in my life, and I began to realize that and had thought processes around it. I wonder if I've been carrying things for other people my entire life, not just this lifetime,
Hmm.
but many
Many
lifetimes.
lifetimes.
And the genetic component from my own genealogy and all that kind of stuff coming through epigenetics. And
Well, and
so I'm
you're a
like,
nine, right?
what? Well, I'm
On the
actually,
Enneagram, right? Are you a nine?
I thought it was more of a nine, but I'm actually,
Oh, that makes so much sense. I was picking up a five yesterday, and I was like, "Are we sure you're a nine?" Because
yeah, I
everything that
think,
you said, I was like, "I think you're a five, like, or
yeah,
you're a nine with like living in their five." But okay, okay, okay.
yeah. So originally, I think I was a nine, where I was very people pleasing and just the nobody, all that kind of stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
And but yeah, when I really get deep down into it, definitely number five. Give me some
Oh,
information.
that makes
Go
so much
away.
more
I don't want to be
sense.
with you. I want to retreat back here and just do my own thing.
Oh my
I
God, I
digress.
love fives. I'm a
Yeah.
five when I'm in my good space. I'm a five. Like, well, I'm a seven, but like when
Yeah.
I'm in my
Oh,
like high side, I'm a five, so I get them, and I'm like,
yeah.
people come in and they'll say they're autistic. I'm like, are you sure you're not just a five? Like like, is that like that's they get
Yeah.
called weird things. Like that's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Totally. Yeah. I am a
oh,
good
that
person.
makes
But
so much sense.
so
Okay, I love
so
it.
yeah. So when I start to think about that kind of stuff, it's like, oh my God, I've been really holding things all my life. But so let's speed up to where, going into PT and all that kind of stuff and started to realize this. And it's like the aspects of my body were really shutting down because it's like how much can we put into the glass? It's going to get full at some point. And because the body is so adaptive, it's made to adapt and it needs to be that way, right?
Hmm.
It's all about trying to keep homeostasis, keep a center line the best that we can. Okay.
Yeah.
But if we start to look at it from an energetic perspective, and if we go down that road, it's like when you get things that are blocked in your system and you don't have energetic flow through your body for whatever reason, right? Whether it's yours, whether it's somebody else's, it doesn't matter. Um, Things just start to shut down. Like my body was literally shutting down. And it was a scary thing, I was like, oh my God, I'm like, here I am just getting in my career and I have effing cancer. It's like, what are you talking about? Or something else. I
Yeah.
didn't know what it was, but yeah, it was really scary. And so but the fact that they couldn't find anything, which is okay, good. I don't have that. Perfect. Now what?
Yeah.
But this realization of really delving into it and diving into myself as a quote unquote empath.
The curse
And
of the empath. Yes.
yeah, the curse of the empath, but it's I had to begin to learn about being energetically responsible, is what I like to say, and how I call it is this responsibility to self, number one,
Hmm.
okay, and responsibility to others too as well at the same time. So you're I'm working on people. I don't want to sit there and be like giving them all anything that I'm dealing with, right? Energetically. I don't
Yeah.
want to be like, here, take all that. No, that's not their job.
No,
You're
it's
coming here
not.
to actually help for me to help you, right?
Yeah.
So, and at the same time, I don't want to take on their stuff,
Right.
and that's where the energetically responsible comes into place. So,
Yeah.
but this energetic exchange is really important to understand.
I think it's
And we're
more
really
important in a
looking
conversation we should be having now more than ever,
at.
because I think that a lot of skilled healthcare practitioners get sick because of this very reason, that there's a very large lack of understanding about the exchange of energy, taking on other people's ick is kind of what I call it. Like
Yeah,
I work with people in trauma all the time, and the only reason I can hold space for them on their journey is because I cleanse it from my system and I don't take it home with me anymore. But
yeah.
at the point I was over 100 pounds, over 130 pounds overweight when I was doing
Wow.
this work because
And you
of,
look amazing, by the way.
oh, thank you. Thank you for helping me last year because you definitely got me through the first 3 to 6 months of on my journey. I'm super close to the end goal now. So
That's
that's
totally.
a thank you to you. So
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
um
So
and
let me say something on that just
yeah.
real quick that you were saying about taking on and then take it home, whatever. But so in my experience, what I would notice is that because I was unbeknownst to me taking on energy is that the fatigue thing. So there'd be days that I'd be like, oh yeah, I can see, three, four, five, six people, whatever, no problem. And other days I'm seeing two and I'm exhausted. Like, what, okay, what happened? Like, what's the difference between this other day and this day? So
Yeah.
this, I think, is a really big, like, telltale sign of when people are having energetic exchange problems in the sense of they're not being responsible and they're taking it on and it's beginning to build up. So I hear this a lot from colleagues of mine, especially new practitioners that come in. That I've been, I have colleagues that are in osteopathic school that I went through too as well,
Mhm.
and they're starting to treat more. And all of a sudden, they're like, "Oh my gosh, I only saw a couple of people today. I'm totally wiped out." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And we start talking about it, and lo and behold, this is what's happening for them. They're taking on energy because they're not understanding their own energetic first, number one, and what that really means, and how to ground, how to clear, all that kind of stuff, and be this just independent. I like to say independent of that other person. It's like you are you, I am me, and we are separate. Though we have this energetic exchange, but we don't need to mesh together, right? We
That was
can
yeah.
dance around
Yeah.
bubbles. That's fine, but we don't need to mesh and like take your
Yeah.
stuff, you take my. No, no, no. That's not. I'm gonna play that game.
Do you remember that exercise we did at the 5 day? And it was where we
Yes.
were playing with energy and what
Mm-hmm.
it felt like. And I
Mm-hmm.
used to be a raging codependent. I'll just say I didn't even know my energy field was like
Yeah.
just codependent. And I think when you have codependent strategies, like you don't necessarily know how to do that because it's just foreign to you. And
Yeah.
when we were in that 5 day, we have this exercise where we put the functional bubbles next to each other. And it's like to train you how to hold healthy energy next to another human being without taking theirs. But then you
Mm-hmm.
practice and you play and you have like one's the big spoon and the other one's the little spoon. And it's such a great way of learning that skill. And I think we should do a workshop on it. But
Yeah.
also, like, I can you talk about that more for people who don't understand what that means? Because I think that when you and I talk about two functional bubbles sitting next to each other, where I can like bump up next to your energy, I can read it, but I'm not getting it into my field. How does
Mhm.
that feel for you? Like if you had to describe it, I know this is a really hard question because I don't know that I
Yeah.
know how to describe it, but I do this exercise with my clients so they
Mhm.
understand the difference. Because I can always feel someone who has an open energy field, and I'm always like, "Whoops, let me put your functional bubble on you first, because I don't want your field leaking out
Yeah.
all over the room." And then I'll like kind of give them a functional bubble.
Mhm.
And then they'll be like, well, that's strange. I feel really good. What did you just do? And I'm like, oh, I just contained your energy around you. And I don't think that I thought about it until you just mentioned, I forgot that I did
Mhm.
that. But how do you do, if
Yeah,
you
I that's funny
explain that to
because
someone? And when
um
is our workshop? Because that's coming. No.
yeah, I think it's really an amazing thing to understand. Okay, so
Mhm.
for me, I don't think I'm quite doing what you're doing there, and I think I probably should be a good thing. I always protect myself, but that's a good idea. I never really thought about just, setting them up for themselves. But for me, what I really feel, and everybody's different, everyone's has, it depends on where their energy is at.
Mhm.
If it's all over the place, it's like I feel them when they're in the parking lot
Yeah.
before they even come in. Like,
Yeah.
oh boy, this is gonna be a big one.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's just this place. So if I think about my own energetic field, my energetic bubble, if you want to call it, okay.
Mhm.
So when I'm the clients in my room, I really tap into that. I'm just feeling I'm like up against, this is kind of how I do it. I'm up against my own, and I'm sending out my own little feelers into the
Mhm.
into the room. And I'm feeling it's kind of where their space is, okay,
Yeah.
and what's going on with it in general. And for me, because I tend to be more um clairsentient as a primary.
Mhm.
So I think it's because of the body work and all that kind of stuff too. But and then not just clairsentient empathic, but clairsentient like feeling, like sensation wise. So
Mhm.
I'll pick up on both of those pretty kind of primarily first with people. And it's like, okay, what is their
Well, for
field?
people who don't know what clairsentient is,
Oh,
Um, let's let's
yeah,
let's
go ahead.
let's talk
Yeah.
about our six friends, the Claires. Claire sentient is that like knowing like a felt sense in your body. A lot of body workers are clairsentient because we feel the other person's pain in our body. And so we don't always know that it's not ours. It's really the way that our body is communicating through an intuitive channel what we're picking up from the other person. Is that how you would describe it?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And there's aspects of it like feeling pain in the body is one thing, but then feeling emotion.
Yeah.
There's two different aspects of it. So that's where I kind of teeter in that whole realm,
Yeah.
really quickly as a primary.
Mhm.
Yeah, and the other clair is cognition. It's like you have a knowing, you have a hearing, you have a visual for clairvoyance, those types. So it's all the part of the intuition, how the information comes into us. Everybody has this ability. It's just got to figure out what works best for you and all that kind of stuff. So that's a
Develop
whole nother
all of
podcast.
them because they're all great tools.
They're all great tools and they bounce all around. So, but I think as a primary, that's where I tend to resonate from. And then it kind of goes from a um, sensing, a sensing to a feeling to a knowing. Is that's the
Yeah.
kind of the blip for me. So, but anyhow, but yeah, so that's really what I practice with my clients in general is to knowing and understanding that it's like if I am here's my bubble and then I just kind of merge up against them a little bit or just what does the room feel like with them in it and then I get a little closer to them and so here's their bubble and I kind of come in a little closer. What does it feel like to be next to them? Okay, and then I'm still me, but we can merge into them just slightly. Okay, so
Uh-huh.
we overlap the two circles. Okay, and then we start to still be me and feel what it feels like to be in their field. And then you start picking up all these different types of information that comes from people. So, but this is just a way of knowing what's going on for the individual. But the thing is that when we go into their field completely and then I would say, lose ourselves
We don't get to call
completely,
our
and we
energy
stay
back.
there. Yeah, and we stay
Call
there,
your
and then all
energy
of a
back.
sudden we pull all their stuff with us, and it's like that's not what we want to do. And this is when it
Yeah.
becomes a problem when we're doing this over and over and over and over and over again. and we're not clearing ourselves out, and understanding that our energy is getting blocked. So it's like the tank is getting fuller and fuller and fuller and fuller and fuller, and the next thing we know, we're having crazy symptoms.
Yeah.
So body pain has been a huge thing for myself, ever since I was a kid,
Because you need a good
and
massage therapist, Jason.
exactly. Everybody needs a good massage therapist.
Just
Exactly. And it was, yes, I was a very, rambunctious child, a very high end, sports and just, rough and tough and tumble, always that kind of stuff.
Oh, I thought
And
you were going to say a high-end terror. I was like, okay.
no,
Like,
no,
I'm just
I loved BMX biking. I love snow skiing. I always did sports, right? But honestly, for me, I really think it was a place of my system was really trying to feel. So let me back up. Not to get into family dynamics too much, but
I think it
I grew
matters
up in
though.
yeah, it's a part of it, right? So it's like
Mhm.
my family, my mom specifically, grew up in a family was like, you probably heard the saying, it's like, stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about. So
Okay,
what do
what
I
year
do
were
with
you
that?
born in though?
71.
Yeah, that's the Gen X. That's how we
Yeah,
were
to-
raised.
totally, totally. It's like, shut up and just don't bother
Get
me.
back outside.
Exactly. Go outside.
I
Well, we
know,
didn't have
watch
cell phones.
General Hospital. Like,
Right? So yeah, as a very sensitive little boy, that was tough. It's like
Mm,
at times it was accepted and other times it wasn't. So what did I do at the times that it wasn't accepted? You stuff it. And it's like you keep bottling it up, pushing it down, pushing it down. And then all of a sudden it's like, why is my body hurting all the time? So yes, I'm doing physical things, but it's like the physical tweaks and turns in my body that may happen if I fall down doing things. But then you put the emotion and the energetic blocking on top of it. And then all of a sudden, things can't adapt anymore. And then you start
yeah.
having pain. Your nervous system starts talking to you when you're so far from your midline that it's stressing it. So then it starts firing off, and then you have sort of all kinds of pain all the time. So I remember my stepdad always giving me a hard time because I had back pain all the time as a kid. And he was like, he's like, oh, I can't run that weed eater, because it's back pain. And it's like, yeah, it hurts. It's like my back is jacked up.
Oh my
But
God.
it was all lumbar support. We started thinking about lumbar support, either support, family support, emotional support was not being happening for me. I had
Mhm.
a pops, my dad, that was not around very much, and as a father figure, they're there to show you how much worth you
Yeah.
have, so to
Yeah.
speak, and acknowledge you. And so he wasn't really around. Well, I had that aspect too. All these different things, right, going on. So that is the journey, but that's in its story. But it's making me who I am. My sensitivity is because of all that, which I love now. But I just know how to work with it now. So it's really what's taken me into what I do, and coming back to going into PT and all that kind of stuff, and realizing this is an issue, not just for me, but for all practitioners, and
Yeah.
it needs to be addressed.
And I don't
Absolutely,
think we
people
talk
need to know.
about it. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know
It
that
doesn't get
people are
talked about as
talking
much.
about.
I think it's really starting to be talked about more, as I have talked to other people in this industry that have gone through after me.
Mhm.
Like maybe like 5 to 10 years after I graduated from PT school, and it seems that they were starting to bring in more things. Absolutely, which was good. So it's moving, but it's slow. It's part of the process and how it has to happen, and what's considered acceptable, and as far as are we doing therapy, like talk therapy, whatever, they didn't really think that was, it needed to be like separate for whatever reason, and it's so not the
I
case,
love that you brought that up because I got certified in coaching because I knew it shouldn't be separate anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just knew that because when I was working on people, I might be the only person they came to see for help. And I
Mm.
thought
Mhm.
I can either get really responsible and get trained in trauma and coaching and the
Yeah.
things that will be able to help me help them because I'm not going to stop someone in their moment if I'm the only person they're going to see and they might have a memory about, an assault or something that's actually the block of the pain. I didn't
Yeah.
want that to be like, oh, here, maybe you should go get some help. I was like, I want to have the skills to be able to help them in an ethical and integrous way.
Yeah.
Um, so that, if I was the only person that they ever came to for help, that I would be able to and equipped with the right skill set to do that. Not from opinion, like I've heard a lot of therapists give their opinions about what they should do, but from that like high level of training and trauma and understanding intuition and the higher self path and things, things such as that. So that was, I think that I don't know. I think anytime you're working with a human body, you should one you kind of get that extra training so that you understand, if you are the only person that they see, that you
Yeah.
have at least some frame of helping them further because we could do
Yeah.
better in that, I think, as a
Yeah.
as a as a healthcare culture.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's, where it kind of took me into obviously was doing my own work. Yeah, and what we call SCR, or somatic emotional release, traumas.
Did you do Peter
Um,
Levine's training, or no? You
no,
went
I
through
did. I
the
didn't do
Barrel
his. I
Institute.
just went through Barral
Okay.
Institute, and did some of their classes. It's what they kind of call, it's SER, but it's like cranial. I think they call it cranial work. But so there's a lot of, it's not like traditional osteopathic cranial work
Uh-huh.
where you're moving. There is some bone work that they do, but it's a lot of emotional. So
Is
I
it
just
like
have
the
classes.
bars? Not like drinking
Say that
bars,
again.
but like, is it like bars where you're like scanning the cranium for energetic imprints of trauma on that cranium? Okay. I
No,
just saw
no,
a
no. They
class
do a
online
lot
I
of.
was gonna look at, but
Yeah, no, they do a lot of mouth work around this. And they do, I think their first class they kind of start off with just doing this it's like a 10-step protocol. It's kind of where they do
okay.
where they're just like moving through the body, and they're just basically working like transitional zones and diaphragms and all that kind of stuff, just balancing the system out. But then they go into really work of dialoguing with the body, which was really amazing, to when you're starting to get certain things, you're getting intuitive hits maybe, or whatever's going on for the person where you're working with them, you start just having a dialogue with the individual a little bit. So they really bring that in. So it's just this aspect of starting to work in the emotional realm for people. So the biggest thing though is when I went through this is that because it's class, there's a lot of people there.
Yeah.
They start doing multi-hand work, meaning multiple practitioners on one person. And it's so powerful because your body can't escape. It's like
Cannot.
it can, but it's really what makes people pop, if that makes sense. And in a
Yeah.
way of like they can't get around, because typically when you're just one person on another person, that if you're not a really skilled practitioner to feel what's happening in the body, and it's trying to get away from the thing you're working on because it doesn't feel safe for whatever reason.
Huh?
So it's when you have multiple hands on somebody, like literally if there's four people, that's eight hands on one body all at one time. It's like it can't escape. So what happens is it brings up the emotion or whatever is going on
Hmm.
to process it out. So I was able to go through that, and really what actually came out was fascinating for me because it was emotional, but it was primarily um, physical trauma at first. That's what came out at first was my physical trauma because I had had so many physical accidents because I was a water skier at 10, 11, 12, but learning how to barefoot water ski, stepping
Oh,
off a ski
cool.
and flipping across the water, like multi-vehicle car accident is how I liken that to. And at 12, and it's like just torquing my body in so many different directions, right?
Yeah.
So, and then falling on my head many times, just out riding my bike or whatever. It's like so many concussions are probably undiagnosed, all these different things. But what was coming out was like my body was going literally back through these motions and like arching and twisting and just all kinds of stuff. And it's like to the point of where I felt like my body can't go there, but it wants to go there, but it's like feels like it's gonna snap because it's like so
Wow.
much motion. But it was just trying to go back through these things so that it could actually let it go and release it. And
Yeah.
then after the process of doing some of the physical stuff, then like more of the emotion could come out. It had to like, the body's different. It's very interesting that way. It's doesn't how we think one thing is going to come out first. No, that's not always the case. Like, oh, that's the thing that was there maybe first or primary. It should come out first. No, it's going to choose whatever it feels safe enough to let go of. That's what it's going to come out. So
Yep.
for me, being emotional in front of other people was at that time was not safe. So it chose the physical thing.
Yeah.
This is how I view it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that what came out. But as I started to go through this and really understand, like, oh my gosh, this is what I've been holding for like all my life, this different aspects of the trauma, the emotion, okay, the energetic stuff. And as soon as I kind of went through that series of classes, my body felt so different. My mind was different. My just overall how I look at things was different. Everything about myself, my mental aspect, my energetic aspect, my emotional aspect, my physical aspect, everything started changing. And it that was like, okay, I'm a believer now. It's like once I had to kind of go through it myself, to really feel it. But
Yeah.
then that's what kind of started it all off. It's like once I kind of was feeling it from the beginning, like there was a problem. Doctors did their stuff, no problems. They couldn't find anything. Okay, that's not that, but it's something else. And then I had this, I'm like, oh my gosh, now that's really actually getting me to shift in different ways that I've never been able to shift in for. So what's going on for now all my clients? It's like, okay, so how do I protect myself?
Yeah.
Not taking on the energies. So it just began to be um, a learning curve. Obviously, you got to go through, you got to educate yourself on it and understand what it's all about. But like you, I went through the coaching stuff too as well because I realized that I need to be able to be coaching people and they can't be separate because if we're exchanging energies while you're working on somebody, you're gonna, if you're in tune with your intuition, you're gonna be getting things that are coming through that it's like that's being housed, whether it's in a nerve, an artery, a vein, an organ, tissue, cranial, whatever, it's there. Because as we know, there's a lovely book called Body Keeps Score.
Yep.
It has the memory, right? So,
Yeah.
and it's been a huge revelation, I would say. Now, there's a lot of in the Baral Institute background, they have this is what they would call cranial work, okay? Which
Mhm.
is they do hands-on, but it's process work while they're working the tissue and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that is one aspect, but um, I didn't at first I didn't really care for that as much, at the time. And that was fine, so because I think I was more on the physical. So
Yeah.
I had to go my own route through it. And I think it's very similar to what I do now, but on another level, even. So
Yeah.
I'm going to bring in something else here that in osteopathic care, we look at levels. So when I say levels, I'm talking about stuff. I'm on a structure.
Hmm.
Is it pure structure that's the issue? Is it fluid? Is it energetic? Or is it there's an emotional?
Yeah.
On that one piece. So, what level is it the primary, that we have to deal with?
I think
So,
that's important if we really
it
want to
is.
be exceptional
Yeah.
practitioners, like to be able to connect in and get the information. Like, is this a spiritual thing? Is this mental? Is it emotional? Like, and then if it's in the body, what's the root cause and what's the one thing I can tell them that they need to start incorporating into their daily lives so that they
Yeah.
can start making a profound shift. So,
Yeah.
um,
Absolutely.
I think
If we
that's
don't
important.
tackle it from that point, what we see, you, me, anybody else as practitioner, you will see if you pay attention that people keep coming back with the same complaint.
Yeah, and
It doesn't matter. If you do not address the primary root cause of what's going on, they will keep coming back. It may not be right away, but it will come back and it'll be the same loop system coming back, coming back, coming back because you haven't gotten to the point. So
right.
if I've got a liver in my hand, I'm like, okay, yeah, structurally, like this position's all out of crazy whack because they were in a car accident. Okay, great, that's fine. However, this thing doesn't have any vitality because their energetic system is clear the frick over there.
Yes.
Because when they got hit from this side, it pushed everything out. So we got to address that piece back in because
Mhm.
it's one of the things you got to get the primary first. So say like, so how I really work with people to understand this is going into when I start to feel on something like I'm testing all these different levels. Okay, I'm just doing structural assessment. Okay, good. You have this are your complaints. Good. Okay. Then within that primary area that I find structurally,
Mhm.
then I say, okay, looking at that, that's great. Now let's look at the energetic system. What's going on there? And then I say, okay, this is kind of the primary area. How does that energetic system affect this structural thing?
Yeah.
Is it, is this energetic thing being dominant
Mhm.
to the structure, or is the structure being dominant to that? So I use just a simple inhibition testing. Basically it's like a way of giving support to that area of the body or that level to see what happens in the other one. So if I give support to the energetic, does the structure shift? Does it allow it to all of a sudden start to change and come back to neutrality, or vice versa? So I'm
Mhm.
testing primary that way, and so there's that system. Then there's the mental aspects of what's going on for them, and there's an emotional. If I feel an emotional, so I'm testing all these things to find like what's really the dominating thing,
Yeah.
that I can do the biggest bang for the buck right now for this individual. Okay, what do they need to know? So this is really where I come to educating people on this. They may not have any idea about this kind of stuff, which is pretty much how it is for most people. That's why they're coming. They think they have this problem, but they really have this problem.
They really have an ancestor who's draining their
Yeah,
energy. Like,
yeah, exactly. And it's very common. It's just how it
Mhm.
is. And so, especially when it's an energetic thing. So, I'm going to give you just a couple examples of some of my clients, if that's okay.
Yes,
Just
yeah, no, this is
yeah,
great.
just things
Yeah.
I've experienced, and so say like I've had many people that all of a sudden they've got if their energetic bubble around them is like, say it's symmetrical, it's kind of like just normal, about 3 foot around, no problem, right? That's ideal. Then all of a sudden, and I'm feeling it, it's like they've got this piece that's like shifted way out over to one side, right, left, back, it doesn't matter what it is. And then you
Can we
can tell,
explain what that means to someone who doesn't understand energy? Because I think that that's an important thing to
mhm,
know when your energy is shifted outside of you, and kind of like what that means. Like, because you can use me as an example because you helped call all my energy back when we worked, so you could always use me as a reference point from the work that we did. But like when you think about when your energy is like, I think of the movie like Doctor Strange when she pushes on him and his like consciousness separates from his body, like, and like you can see it
yeah,
flow out. It's kind of
yeah,
like that if you had to like explain it to someone who has no clue what we're talking about, because not everyone sees energy the way that we do just because they're not like trained in it yet. So what does
mm,
that mean, almost like when their energy's outside of them, or like
yeah.
what would cause that?
Well, let's step back for a second. Just think about heart being the battery of the body, right? It's like the energizing piece. So it gives off the electromagnetic field all over around us, right? That's science.
Mhm.
It's straight up fact. So just think about this though, that everything around you has an energy if you think about that standpoint. So it's no different than your heart is different to this. It's the same thing. Okay. So that phone's got an energy. That's why they tell you don't put this thing more than 30 inches next to you because shit's going to give you cancer. That's in the small print.
Yeah, they
So,
don't put that on the warning label.
no. That's in the small print, right at the bottom. So, but we have this energetic aspect of us, okay? It's like that battery that's running and keeps us cohesive, so to speak. Okay.
Mhm.
We have different, what we call chakra systems in the body that are just areas of energy that gets housed in it. Right. Those areas have different roles, so to speak, as far as intuition or using our power or our sexuality, all that kind of stuff. But anyhow, that's just our aspect of energy. So when it comes to being outside of the way I see things, a couple of fold. if somebody has been in trauma, like a physical trauma,
Hmm.
in osteopathy, we call it a force imprint. Literally, the force of that thing that happens, whether you fall on the ground, whether you're in a car and you get hit from the car, and so that force goes through you, okay, and it will literally shift things, your body itself, organs within your body, and that energetic field that is ours, okay, can get shifted. That's just from a physical trauma. But say if you have an emotional trauma, an aspect that you, for whatever reason, or didn't feel safe and
Hmm.
it feels scary to be there, it will also move outside of your body. Okay.
Hmm.
Which you've experienced that for yourself. I've experienced that for myself. Um, we have part personalities. Okay. We all have them. When they don't feel safe, they literally disintegrate from the whole. They're not copacetic and getting along with each other. All the kids aren't playing nice on the playground.
I call them the
So,
itty bitty shitty committee. That's
yeah,
like,
I love it. I love it. So they get disintegrated. So that energetic part of you is outside of you now.
hmm.
And it feels safe out there because inside it does not feel safe anymore.
Hmm.
So it it's just an aspect of ourself that has, like I was come back, it doesn't feel safe. It just moves outside. So it's
Doesn't
either
feel safe is
it
usually
doesn't
why, though.
it's yeah, so it's outside. And that can be for, like I said, many different reasons. It could be because maybe you're scared about moving forward with something. So maybe that's showing up as it's over here to the right. Okay, maybe my masculine drive, I got to go do something, but I don't feel comfortable doing it. So, and it's a part that I really need to move forward in. For multiple patients of mine, for whatever reason, suddenly I become a relationship coach lately.
Oh my God, because that is the root of pain. Don't get me started on it.
Yeah,
We're gonna do a separate episode on it.
yeah. They come in for all this, but it goes right down
Because
to that part.
it's always down to like loneliness, fighting, narcissistic abuse recovery. I mean, it's
Yeah,
always like the root cause of most pain is relationship trauma.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Because we want to be loved and seen by everybody. That's how it is, and
we
somehow
want
it
to
doesn't
find
happen that
someone.
way.
It's our natural human
Yeah,
nature to
yep,
want to be loved and to love
hmm,
someone in return
yeah,
and to find partnership and build a life with someone. Like
yeah,
that is our human nature.
yeah,
So,
totally.
yeah.
So yeah, it's been interesting to see people going through this type of thing right now, and where their energy is getting shifted.
Hmm.
You know, to see it actually go to an aspect that is feminine, posterior, and behind, which is tends to be more past related stuff, we start to tap into things, and they're like, yeah, I've got this issue, and I'm not allowed to, I feel like I'm not allowed to speak my truth around certain things, especially around men, that I have to kind of be subservient. I'm like, oh, that's interesting because I'm seeing this back to like literally like 10 generations back. This is what happened for your generations. So you've been carrying this all this time through this, these lifetimes and generations, but it's also happening to you now. So, but that's where it shows up. So then all of a sudden, maybe it's something on the masculine side, but they're not wanting to move forward. So it's like all these different things. But what happens is that when I hone in on that, and then I feel the structural, I could have them standing. I say, hey, you feel your body having a hard time moving with this? You're like, yeah, yeah, no problem. I totally feel that. I say, well, I'm going to support this little piece over here, and I want you to tell me what your body does. And so I support it, and all of a sudden their body shifts and allows them to start moving again. And they're like, well, what did you just do? I said, I supported that piece of you that you're not willing to look at right now, and that's okay. And it's this piece. And they're like, how did you know that? I'm like, because that's just, the
It's so
energetic piece
hard to
that's
answer
moving.
that question, isn't it?
It
Sometimes
is.
you're
It
like,
is.
I
And it's
don't
just,
know. You've got your grandma's here and she told me.
yeah.
Like it's just like
Yeah. I know. They're like, what?
you know, it's like I don't, and then I'm like, oh, how do I explain this in science? Like, okay, wait a minute. Like, and then I'll be
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
Absolutely. And, so I had a client just the other day, and I met her in a spiritual workshop, and she's an amazing gal, but she was just having a lot of blocks. She had some physical things, she had a total knee replacement and just the little things, in her body, but she's having some difficulties moving around this stuff. But I also knew and understand that her son passed away. She's got a lot of heaviness. But as we went through the thing, her whole body, it's like she really was congested down. Like the whole system was like, if you could take it and just like like nothing was happening, right? In the vitality wise, just not expressing itself like it
Yeah.
needs to express itself. Like what we call whole body, vitality just is like down, gone.
Yeah.
And one of her complaints was long time depression, anxiety, um, headaches, like feels like just compressed in her head all the time. And I started to really like the physical was there, but then I was like, what's going on with the energetic stuff? I'm like, her whole upper chakras outside of her body seem to be like trying to shut down. And I started to work with her a little bit this way and to connect with that. And then her son showed up. And then we started talking. He was talking to me, and I was just kind of going, talking to her about it. And
How do you
just really,
handle that when someone's loved one, they're there for body work and someone's loved
yeah,
one shows
it's
up? Because that
it's
happens
yeah,
all the
it's
time.
a touchy subject for people that don't necessarily get it and or might be afraid of it.
Yeah.
So this individual was not. So it was perfect.
Yeah.
So just holding some space on her crown, like on her forehead, and then on her heart, she went through this whole unwinding, okay, around this piece, around her son, and it was so beautiful to watch her do that. And for me, I was just doing my thing and just allowing my intuition to lead the whole show. And as soon as it cleared, we went back and started checking different things in the body. And it was like, oh, that's interesting. Now it's like, now you're showing me some true structural things that are actually stuck here. I'm like, okay, cool. Released a couple different things, no problem. It came back in and started balancing it with the energetic system. So she calls me the next day and she felt great after it was good. She did really, really well.
Yeah.
And next day she goes to Pilates, and she had told me in the history taking that the Pilates she has trouble with it. Like certain things your body just doesn't do, it won't do, and she's
Mhm.
trying to, but it just won't let her do it. She goes to Pilates the next day and doesn't say anything, and the instructor's like, "What happened?" You're like, this is the body I was waiting to show up, and I've been trying to work with, and all of a sudden she's able to do all these different things, and she was so amazed because it's like it was just so trapped down inside that it couldn't allow any kind of like how I call it is like the body can't like let go and stretch and do what it needs to do because it's like this. It's like
Yeah.
T-Rex inside. It's like you know. So yeah, it's like you have to get it to like relax, and central nervous system, brain, spinal cord have to be able to just come out of fight and flight. They have to go into the parasympathetic tone. She was just very, very high sympathetic tone, around this trauma, So,
Oh, I can't imagine
it's
because I
beautiful things.
know losing the thought of even losing one of my children is like
Yeah.
I don't know how you come back from it. And also, as a reluctant medium, not someone who ever thought I would be considered a medium, not happy about it when it came in. I was pretty pissed that it was even something I had to deal with. 'Cause I was like, I didn't sign up for this garbage. I don't want to be talking to dead people. Like I was
Yeah.
like Whoopi Goldberg, right? When she, anyways, that was my experience. Mostly because
That's
the
good.
first time it happened, I was with a client and her husband
Yeah.
came in, but he like came in and I was like, no, I don't want to like what's happening. And I didn't know how to put boundaries up with the spirit plane. Anyways,
Mm.
now when they come in, I'll be like, you can sit in the corner. If I invite you to give me information, you can, but only if invited. Otherwise, I'll kick you
Yeah.
out. So behave. Anyways, I think that it can also be the root cause of pain though. If it's a grief,
Yep.
or if it's
Yep.
also, I mean, I don't like to say the word, but kind of like an energy that's following you that doesn't belong to you.
Mhm. Mhm.
Unresolved trauma can follow you like that energetically, and that's like where I do a lot of clearing work with entities and energy and things like that. But that can impact your body's ability to heal and transform. So it's awesome.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It can be good energies and bad energies, they're out there. So
Yeah.
they don't discriminate from you.
They do
You know
not.
that. So it's just an aspect, yeah, we have to weed through those things, clear
Yeah.
them out best that we can, and begin to become energy responsible again and know when we might be holding something and
Yeah, I
holding
think
on to
because of a lot
something.
of empaths, I hear them online saying like, "Oh, I don't have any control. I'm an empath." I'm like, you absolutely need to learn to control that because it's
Yeah.
also going to be filtered through your own experience of life. So what you
Mhm.
might be picking up might be wrong, actually.
Yep.
So you need to make sure that if you are or identify as an empath, that you take responsibility for that gift and that you learn how to manage energy.
Yep.
Otherwise, you will get sick, and that's on you. It's your responsibility to make sure that you take care of your energy, and that's your responsibility as an empath, whether or not you
Yep.
want to or not. Like you just
Yeah.
have to. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you won't
Being,
survive. You'll get sick.
yeah. Being in control of your own impact. Yeah.
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 Jason,
Absolutely.
this was like the best conversation. I'm like, I already
Oh,
have 18
absolutely.
other podcast ideas generated in my head while we were chatting. I was
Oh,
like,
you number seven, you.
I'm like a manifesting generator and a seven. So I would my
Right.
like my seven was like, oh my God, we need to have a workshop on like how to connect with the love of your life. Like
Mm. Yeah, there you go.
and do intuitive readings for people because we're so good at it. So,
Yeah, that'd
um
be fun. That'd be fun. So,
Oh, it would be fun, and it's a good way to get out of the more like the academia of what we do. It is
mhm.
actually kind of fun when you get to spend time just living in that like energy of calling people soulmates and stuff. Anyways, I will
Yeah,
talk to you about that
absolutely.
another time because
Yeah.
but I appreciate too that you are somebody so committed to excellence in everything that you do because I think that the world needs more physical therapists, coaches, and practitioners of all sorts because I just kind of I'll put us in the world of healing and coaching. And that you are so committed to that path of knowledge and excellence. And I've just seen it over the years since I've known you too,
Mm. Yeah.
always
Thank you.
expanding your knowledge and in the kind of like I'll always say it in the army of light. Like, and that's how I kind of
Mhm.
call practitioners is the army of
Yeah.
light. At least that's how my guides always say it. It's like, oh, there's this army of light that is like here to help elevate people in their lives and to bring them and return them back to love. And I know that you're part of that like warrior energy of returning people to love, basically, because when you're
Yeah.
in flow with your higher self, that's love and not fear. So
Yeah.
I just appreciate your friendship and also your
Mm.
commitment
Absolutely.
to helping
Absolutely.
people because it feels
Yeah.
nice when I send a client down to you, like down in the Sacramento area, and I'll be like, "Oh no, he's down there, but he does what I do, but like probably better." And like, so like, go see him down
Funny.
there. And when that same client like came up and saw me, she was like, "You guys work so similar. It's so nice to have that congruency and care
Yeah.
between college and home." Anyway, so
Did she
um,
come back?
yeah, yeah, no, I've been
Came
treating
back?
her since she got home. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
awesome. Good.
So,
Good,
and
good,
it was
good.
so nice. She was like, "Oh, you talk just like him. Like you guys say the same things." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah, because we're
That's good. A
both
little coherence.
saying the right
That's
thing." So, like,
yeah,
but
good.
so it was like also very nice to have that like uh yeah, that consistency between messaging and knowing that that's coming from that higher
Mhm.
plane, not ego, not what we think it should be, but having to translate it from source and then how do you say it to this
Mhm.
person and get them where they need
Yes.
to go. And I think that's the biggest challenge being in this work. But um
Right. Right. I just want to end with one thing, and I think it doesn't matter what kind of practitioner you are.
mhm,
When you really come from a heart space and you really decide that you're doing work for the greatest good of this individual, okay? And when you come from that place and you understand that you need to find the real core of what's going on, the root of the issue, um, and that the person that's sitting in front of you is multidimensional.
yeah.
Once we can tap into that and start to understand that, then people are going to shift beyond. It doesn't matter what you're doing, okay?
Yeah.
When it's a pureness of love and light, and you have the individual and doing things for the greatest good for that person, it doesn't matter. You could not literally not know anything what you're doing, and just let things flow through you, and it's going to happen. I think it's really important to come from that place, and just
Yeah.
try our best to, because as human nature, we can be egoic, but step out of the way and
Yeah.
let your higher self work through you, as the biggest thing. And let it just fly because it's the more I do that, the more I just step out of the way and just let whatever's got to come in and for this person. It has nothing to do with me. It's not
Yeah.
about me, it's about them. Right.
Yeah.
So I think
That's
it's
the
really, really
nicest
important.
part of it though, isn't it? It's not
Yeah.
about you. You're,
Yeah.
and I hear that all of the time. It's like it's not about you. You
Yeah.
are the conduit with which healing
Yeah.
flows. And
Yeah.
it's not coming from you, it's just passing through you. And
Yeah.
you're the vessel, the person who did the knowledge, the education or whatever, and you're the one who's holding space for, like, I call it kind of Christ conscious healing to come through
Yeah.
me, not
Yeah.
from me. And I think that was how I learned not to get sick from healing
Hmm.
people, was because I no longer thought the energy had to come from me. I simply let it pass through me. And that to me was the first step in not getting energetically drained and not getting sick doing the type of work that we do. And I've seen a lot of practitioners where their energy, it's coming from them and it's draining them and making them sick. And it's like
Yeah.
if you could just connect into the light above your head, there's like a light 300 feet above your head, like your super conscious light, and you just let that light flow through you and
Yeah.
not from you. And I have a lot of stuff on like YouTube and stuff that I share with people to teach them how to do that. But I think
Mm.
that that would be number one, is just don't make it your energy. Let it flow.
Yeah.
Let it go and let it flow.
I
I'm
love
just
that.
kidding.
That's
I can.
totally, yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
I'm so grateful for you. I'm going to post
yeah.
some contact information for Jason, and I am going to help him build a new website so people can find him online. And
Yes. Thank you so much.
thank you so
Yeah.
much for being
And
you.
yeah, I look forward to our next little shindig, whatever
Oh,
we're
I
gonna
have
come
like
up with.
18. Like I said, I
Yeah.
already wrote
Yeah.
them all
Yeah.
out in the field. They're going to be coming in
Great.
later. So I'll
All
probably
right.
telepathically you already got the download, or you will in your sleep tonight. You'll see my face and I'll be like, so I have a clipboard and I've got all of our episodes outlined. Like, so
Gosh. Let that number seven wear off on me a little bit.
hey, you have a direct line to it.
Yeah, I know. I do. I do. Totally. All right.
I'm super
Well,
grateful for you and
thank
thank
you.
you. And do you
Yeah.
have any
Yeah.
parting words of wisdom or anything for our
I
listeners
would,
today?
well, I would say that if from listening to this, if people don't still kind of understand, they want to know more about energy words, go do it because it's an aspect of who we are. Go
Yeah.
learn some stuff and begin to understand what it's about and being able to shift things because we easily can shift stuff, do the own work on ourselves and you don't necessarily have to go to somebody else, but you can get some training in it and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are able and capable to do it ourselves. So yeah,
Absolutely.
go do
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
learn it.
Definitely. Just do it.
Let's do it. Yeah. All right.
Thank you. And
Yep.
I'm gonna uh thanks Jason again. And like I said, I'll post some of his contact information if you're interested in working with him. Take
Yeah.
care.
Bye bye.